Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Harini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Desatarini. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we continue our reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10. And today's verse is verse number 30. So, as we discussed, Arjuna has asked Krishna, how I can remember you in this material world. Please tell me about your opulences. So, Krishna says, I will tell you my opulences, but those are very prominent because my opulences are unlimited. I cannot explain all. So after that, Krishna is explaining how we can remember Krishna by these different opulences in this material world. And the main theme or the focus or the essence of all these examples and opulences is anything that we see as great or powerful or astonishing or surprising in this material world. It has spark of opulence of the Supreme, and so we can connect to Supreme. So this is the theme that we are going through. So now today's verse is verse number 30. So Krishna continues, Prahladascha daityanam kala kala yatamaham mruganam cha mrukendro aham vainateyascha pakshinam. So let us read the translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Among the Daitya demons, I am devoted Prahlad. Among the subduers, I am Time. Among the beasts, I am the lion. And among the birds, I am Garuda. Purport. Didi and Aditi are two sisters. The sons of Aditi are called Adityas, and the sons of Diti are called Daityas. All the Adityas are devotees of the Lord, and all the Daityas are atheistics. Although Prahlad was born in the family of Daityas, he was great devotee from his childhood. Because of his devotional service and godly nature, he considered to be representative of Krishna. There are many subduing principles, but time wears down all things in material universe. So represents Krishna. Of many animals, the lion is the most powerful and ferocious. Of millions of varieties of birds, Garuda, the bearer of Lord Vishnu, is the greatest. So here we see there are again four parts of this verse and four opulences are described. The first is Prahladascha asmi daityana. So in this world, there are major two parts or two types of people. One who are believe in God and the others who don't believe in God. Those who believe in God and Daityas are atheists, they don't believe in God. And generally speaking, if we say God, then should manifest in the people who believe the God only. But here we see Prahlad was son of Hiranyakashipu, the most ferocious or powerful demon who was ruling all the three worlds at that time. And Prahlad took birth from Mother Kayadu, who was wife of Hiranyakashipu. So he took birth in the family of demons. And demons generally have all the dangerous, powerful weapons with which they rule this world. But Prahlad was just a small kid. From his childhood, he was devotee of Vishnu. And he didn't use any weapon, but he was a pure devotee of Vishnu. And because why he was devotee of Krishna? Because when Kayadu, mother of Prahlad, was pregnant or carrying him, Narad Muni protected Kayadu, and Narad Muni gave all the spiritual knowledge to Kayadu. So when Prahlad was born, he was from the childhood devotee of Vishnu. And we see that he was saved. The Hiranyakashipu tried to kill him because Vishnu was Hiranyakashipu's enemy. And why he was enemy? Because Vishnu in the form of Varaha killed Hiranyakashipu's brother Hiranyaksha. So so when Prahlad started worshipping Vishnu, Hiranyakashipu tried to kill him, but nothing can kill him. And finally, uh, Narsingadev appeared to protect Prahlad and killed Hiranyakashipu. So when we hear this pastime of Prahlad, because Prahlad was only 5 years old when all this pastime happened, and when after killing Hiranyakashipu, when Narsingadev was very angry, no one can pacify Narsingadev. But Prahlad, though he was 5 years old, he can pacify, or he pacified Narsingadev's anger. So when we see this, hear this pastime, we get attracted to this pastime and we want to hear this pastime. Many times we have heard, but still we want to hear it. So this attraction of to Prahlad and his pastime is representation, or it connects us to the Supreme Lord Krishna. So he says, among Daityas, so though he was family of demons, still through Prahlad, we can always remember Krishna. So that is the power of devotion that Prahlad had. And that comes from Supreme Lord. The second is Kalayatam Aham. So Kalaha means time. And we always have this phrase that time devotes everything, time finishes everything. And nobody can win with in the competition of time. And nowadays there are not no many kings, or there are no fights like the old times. But very simple examples, in all the simple examples we can see, say Formula One, Michael Schumacher was number one, right? He broke all the records and he was the fastest. But with the time, now he's not number one. Now Hamilton is number one. Similarly, in other sports, we see people reach to the top of their career, and but they cannot remain there. With the time, they have to go down. So no one can with the time win against time. Time will finish everything. It's finishing our body every second. We think of our memory, our mind is very strong, but as we get old, our mind and intelligence gets slow. We cannot use it, even if we want to use it. So, time is such a factor that is always killing or finishing everything in this world. So, that's why this time is the representation of Krishna, and it is the time energy through which Mahavishnu activates this material world. So it starts with time and ends with time. So no one can win against the time. That's why it is the representation of Krishna. That's how Krishna controls or finishes this material manifestation. The third part is Mruganam cha Mrugendro Aham. So Mruganam means animals, and Mruga Indro. Indro means king. So king of Mruga Indra is lion. So when we see lion, we are surprised. There was one movie, right? Now, the Lion King also was one movie, but there is one other movie, fantasy movie, in which that Narnia or something. In that there is one lion. Very when it walks, it's very graceful, very beautiful. And when we see that type of lion, and we feel surprised with the beauty, and at the same time we are fearful of lion. So this mixture of surprise and fear together in one place, but we are all always attracted to lion. When we see lion, we get attracted. So this is the power that is representation or is given by the Supreme Lord Krishna. So that is representation of Krishna. So that's why he says, like, in the animals I represent lion, because we get attracted. It has that power to attract. The fourth part is Vainateyascha Pakshinam. So Vainateyas is Garuda. So in Mahabharata, and Pakshi means bird. So among the millions of types of birds, he is Garuda, because Garuda is very quick, fast, very accurate in catching the target and locating the target. The eyes and the vision is very sharp. And if we see simple videos of not actual Garuda, but species of Garuda, then vultures, we get surprised. So Garuda is the king, the main. So there is story in Mahabharata about this Garuda. Vainateya is Garuda. So he is son of Vainita, who is wife of Kashyapa Muni. So Kashyapa Muni had two wives. One is Vaineta and the other was Kadru. Kadru had snakes as her sons, and Vinita had two sons, Aruna and Garuda. And there is a story that when the two wives, once they saw this Ucheshrava horse flying in the sky, and they discussed about the color, and Kadru said the color of the tail of the horse is black, and Vainita said no, it is white. So they had a bet, and it was the agreement that whoever wins the bet, the other lady has to be servant or slave of one who wins. So what Kadru tells her sons snakes to find out Ucheshrava and cover the tail by snakes, so it becomes black. And then when the two wives next day they find the Ucheshrava, the tail was black. So then Vinita becomes slave of Kadru. And Garuda and Aruna become slave because their mother is slave. They also become slave. So Garuda used to fulfill the orders by snake. And then one day Garuda thinks, why I have to serve the snakes? So he asks mother. So mother tells her, this is what happened. I lost the bet, so we have to be servant now. So then Garuda thinks, now I have to release my mother from this curse or this bet. So he asks next, what do you want for my, so that you will release my mother? So they say, okay, you bring nectar for us, then we will release your mother. So then Garuda starts on his mission to find the nectar. So there is description how he comes across different places, he travels, he meets his father, he saves different rishis, and finally goes to that place where the nectar is there. Then he fights with Devtas because Devtas were protecting. So Indra, Gandharva, and all these Devtas were protecting, and Garuda defeats all of them and takes the nectar. And when he takes the nectar, without drinking the nectar himself, he takes all the nectar to, starts to take the nectar to his cousin brothers because he promised them. So that was his control, that though nectar was in front of him, he was focused on giving nectar to the snakes. So Vishnu becomes very happy with Garuda, and he praises Garuda and asks him, "You can ask some boon." So Garuda asked boon that he should be always above Vishnu. So the flag of Vishnu has Garuda on it. One of the characters is Garuda. So, and then when he starts going back, Indra sees Garuda going very fast. So he throws his weapon, Vajra, thunderbolt at Garuda. But Garuda has already become so powerful that nothing happens to him. But Garuda, in spite of having this so much power, to respect Indra, he says, "You are king of Devatas and world, so I cannot disrespect you. So, though this thunderbolt is not affecting my body, one feather of my one of the wing I will give you as respect." So one feather of Garuda's body falls down with that Vajra. So when Indra sees this power, then Indra and Garuda became friends. And so Indra says, "You don't give this nectar to the snakes, otherwise they are poisonous, they will do all bad things." So Garuda says, "No, I promised I will do. But once I give them, you can take away from them. That you can do." So he comes back and gives the nectar to snakes. So, and he keeps the uh, nectar, pot of nectar on the kusa grass. And then snakes come to take nectar. And but Garuda says, "Okay, before taking the snakes, go and take bath and become clean and then take the nectar." When they go out to take the bath, meantime Indra comes and steals the nectar. So when the snakes come back, they see that there is no nectar. So, but they try to take the nectar from the kusa grass because something might have spilled out. That's why they get something. That's why snakes are always there. And because the nectar fell on this kusa grass, after that day, kusa grass became auspicious. And that's why everywhere in puja or everything, we use kusa grass. Right? So that is one of the story of this kusa grass. So we see this in Garuda has different qualities that surprise us. With all after this, Garuda becomes the carrier of Vishnu. Right. So then there are so many stories in Mahabharata also about Garuda and his bravery. So these pastimes of Garuda and his stories and his prowess surprise us, attract us, and that's why he is representation of the supreme power. So that's why it is said, Vainateyascha Pakshinam. Around the birds, I am Garuda. So these are few points that I knew about this. So if anybody has any other points, please share.
Thank you so much for the Garuda story.
Yeah, it's very interesting if you hear, and it's very descriptive. I told only the essence, but the way he approached the nectar, it's very wonderful story. In Mahabharata, it is.
Can you explain about the time? In Bhagavad Gita, it says that time is eternal. So, how it is eternal?
Where it is time?
Like there are the four things in the material world, right? And time is one of them, which is
Eternal
eternal.
means meaning of eternal is one of the meaning is when there is no beginning and no end is eternal. So this material world starts when Vishnu or Mahavishnu glances over the Pradhan, Prakriti, and that glancing is said to be the energy of time from which everything starts moving and beginning. So if we try to trace out time, we cannot trace out the time. Nobody can trace out the exact time. We can trace the evidences, not the time. So that's why that, and even if we die, everything finishes, still time will remain till the dissolution of this universe. The time will remain always. So from our point of view, it is eternally existing till. And even if the Brahma, one Brahma dies after 100 years, he will again be born. So this cycle of time is eternally going, this material. And even if one universe finishes, there are billions of universes in which the time factor is going on. So from that angle, it's unlimited. We cannot fathom how much is the time, what is the end of the time. We cannot. So that's why it is eternal. Anything else?
Do we have picture of Ananta Shesha yesterday?
Oh, I didn't check. Tomorrow I will check.
Does time take place in spiritual world?
What?
Time in spirit.
Time.
Time is a factor. When we say time, present, past, and future, this exists in this material world. In the spiritual world, is eternal. It's always there. There is no past, no future. It's always the current time, because everybody is so conscious. They live in the present moment and just continuously keep living. So this present, when we say time, it is in Bhagavatam, Canto 5th, it is mentioned that time means change. And the sun, when it travels from one place to another place, the change of the position of the sun is called time, the change. So main of the factor that we use to measure time is the change. So this exists in material world, because material world is always changing, but the spiritual world is eternal and always there, present. So that's why this time factor is mainly in material world.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining and giving this opportunity to read and share and discuss about Bhagavad Gita, which is very rare opportunity for in this world, and you all are giving that opportunity. So thank you very much for your time, and let us meet again. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Please
Thank
take
you,
care.
Guruji.
Thank you very much. Please
Thank
take
you, Hare
care.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.